Welcome back, Geek Philosophy Podcast, Episode 9. We are getting to that double-digit mark.
Yep.
All right, thank you for everyone that's been subscribing to us, been listening to us on iTunes, Google Play. We're working on SoundCloud. They're being very difficult. But we will be putting more episodes on podcast, on Google, on SoundCloud when we can. But thanks again for watching. For all the people that watch us on YouTube, thanks again. Let's get into the show. We got a lot of news this week. And a lot of it's still running off of last week. But honestly, for the franchise, Star Wars franchise, let's go ahead and start off with that.
Yeah. Episode 9 of the podcast starts with Star Wars Episode 9 news.
And they start filming yesterday. We're doing this recording a little early. We normally do this on Friday.
Right.
We're doing it Thursday, August 2nd. But as of August 1st, they start recording.
Yeah.
So, more to come. I mean, we're seeing some. We've already saw a lot of casting rumors already.
Right. But now we actually have some hard facts.
Yes.
We know a few people at least that are definitely going to be in this movie. And they're pretty much ones that we thought would be the ones that were rumored.
AKA the true Lando.
Right.
Billy D.
Nothing against Donald Glover. I like him.
He ain't as smooth as Billy D.
But Billy D. Williams is definitely going to be reprising Lando Calrissian in Episode 9. We also got word that Mark Hamill is definitely going to be reprising Luke Skywalker.
How much of money we're putting that it's going to be a Force Ghost?
Well, I think that's it would be a big surprise to everybody.
If it wasn't a Force Ghost.
If it wasn't a Force Ghost. But yeah, I think we're going to see Mark Hamill and we're going to see Luke and Yoda.
We're going to see a nice shade of blue.
Right. What I want to see
Hamill.
is you got maybe Yoda, Luke, maybe even Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, Force Ghost, just a throwback to the old ones.
Can we afford Liam Neeson at this point?
I don't know. He does have a specific set of skills, or certain set of skills, whatever it is. But no, I think that I
feel like that's the one role that he's done that he doesn't want to go back to.
Maybe not, but at the very least, if they bring back in Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor, because it sounds like they're trying to pull him in for another franchise to come back as that
honestly,
character.
that's the only way you can really redeem anything from that era is just do a Obi-Wan movie. That's what we want.
Yeah. I mean, I think I think all those characters are going to be able to kind of right some wrongs from the last movie. Mm-hmm. I hope. So Billy D confirmed, Mark Hamill confirmed, both were rumored, and then the other big one is Carrie Fisher.
So So for those who know, she did pass last year.
Yep.
Right before the movie came out, the last movie,
mm-hmm.
last year that came out. And in this situation, what they're doing is they're using unused footage from The Force Awakens.
Yeah, so I need to go back and look at look at some of the Force Awakens deleted scenes and whatnot, because I guess they're going to use some of that.
I don't know how, but they did say they don't want to CGI her in.
Right.
They want to use actual footage she did. They got permission from her daughter, so
yeah,
daughter's on board.
Her daughter will be in the movie just as she's been in the others. I forget her character's name, but she's always in the background with Princess Leia. She's got the hairstyle throwback to her mother in the earlier films, blonde hair and all. But Billy Lord is her daughter's name. I forget what her character is in the movie. But yeah. So they're somehow going to pay homage to the character. I assume they're going to wrap things up on her. I don't know. Is this going to mean she's going to die in the first couple of minutes?
I don't know. It's so because honestly, the whole time you were watching the last one, you were on the edge of
the second she got blown out into outer space, I was like, "That's the last we're going to see of her." And then she pulls herself back in with the Force. So I don't know.
So I know each movie is supposed to be their going away song. Force Awakens was Han's.
Yeah.
The last one was supposed to be Luke's. Mm-hmm. This one's supposed to be supposed to be Leia's. Yeah. So we'll see. I know they're gonna. I pray they do respects to her.
I'm sure they will. I mean, and also I think I have more faith in J.J. Abrams directing this than I did in Brian.
Dude, that last movie was so horrible. I forgot the director's name.
It still remains the only Star Wars movie that I've never purchased, and I even saw it on Netflix the other day. I thought, maybe I'll watch it again, but still
hurt, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I just I probably need to make myself go back and watch it and see if any of it appeals to me more.
Don't do it to yourself.
But I was not happy when I left the theater. Go back some in our video library here on YouTube, and you can get all of that background, so we don't have to go into it again. But so we're switching gears.
Let's go into video games real quick.
Yeah,
because we're getting close to September 7th.
Yeah,
for Spider-Man.
That's right.
So if you haven't pre-ordered, go out there and pre-order.
Only on PS4.
Yeah, only on PS4.
Sorry. Switch and Xbox.
Sorry, not sorry.
All of us Xbox fanboys are moping around. It's
been released, and we kind of saw footage at E3.
Yeah.
That
beautiful looking game.
Mary Jane might be a playable character.
Yeah.
It is going to be. It's confirmed now. She is a playable character in some way. I'm pretty sure it's going to be nothing but like one of those investigative sneak missions.
Maybe that could be kind of weird. I don't really like those.
I don't see her throwing hands.
Yeah.
If you tell me Miles is playable, I can see Miles throwing hands.
Yeah.
I can't see Mary Jane coming out.
What if they scrap Spider-Gwen and throw in Spider-Mary Jane?
Well, what's her name? And because they have a comic right now, Spider-Man Renew Your Vows.
Yeah.
Where it's an alternate timeline where he did marry Mary Jane, and they had a child together.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like the last superheroes. Like there's only Spider-Man and the X-Men left.
Yeah.
And she has a suit that siphons off Peter's powers, so she can have half of Spider-Man's powers. Mm-hmm. And I forget what her name is. God, I gotta look that up. That's gonna disturb me. But
we'll have to wait and see. I hope they at least make it interesting. I personally don't like those breaks in games like that.
I feel like it's gonna be. I don't like them either, but you kind of need them for story development sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes.
But also, like, when you buy a game for Spider-Man, and then you end up just being a normal person in the game, like, we get that every day in life. I don't need to play that in a video game.
Well, no, you're a normal hot redhead.
Right.
You don't get to be a redhead every day in life.
Yeah. No, I mean, sure, maybe it'll be more fun than usual. So we're kind of sticking to that
Let's
same
just go
Spider-Man.
Let's do Spider-Mania right now.
Yeah,
okay?
lots of Spider-Man news.
So logo came out.
Yeah.
And honestly, when I first looked at it, I thought it was a prank. It doesn't look like a real logo.
So this is Spider-Man Far From Home's official logo, which maybe in post-production we can put right here.
Oh, it will be right here. But it didn't thrill me as much as I feel like Homecoming. That logo.
It looked like they just took the same Homecoming logo and typed a few extra things.
And they took the background away.
Yeah.
Even the background, you had the spider webs and so forth. I wasn't feeling this one that much.
Well, I wasn't even a fan of Spider-Man Homecoming's logo, just because. I mean, I'll give it to them.
Was it the logo or the title?
I just didn't really like the title.
Okay, that's
or the logo too, but mainly.
If you don't like the title, you ain't gonna like the logo.
Yeah. I mean, I understand, and I know a major criticism of that would be it was different from everything else that the MCU's had, and yes, that's correct.
It was either that or we're going to have the Spectacular Spider-Man.
Right. Which they'll just save that for when they decide to reboot Spider-Man for the third time, fourth time.
I mean, I need to hear a premise. I need to hear like a little synopsis of what the story's about.
We'll get it eventually.
I mean, because what we have Mysterio, we have Chameleon, and then aren't we just heard rumors that Maria Hill's going to be in it. Yeah. So it's kind of too all over the place with me. I don't know what the whole Maria Hill connection is. I don't know if it's Maria Hill with Shield or Maria Hill, Tony's assistant type thing.
So what we're talking about is the actor Numan Akar, who's playing Chameleon.
He's confirmed.
He basically put something on Instagram and hashtagged Maria Hill in it. Now, Maria Hill, you'll know from The Avengers, played by Kobe Smulders from How I Met Your Mother and quite a few other shows.
Famous Canadian.
Yeah, famous Canadian. Robin Sparkles. She's been in quite a few. She was in The Stinger at the end of Avengers Infinity War. If you haven't seen that by now, what's wrong with you?
It is out on digital now, so
yeah, go buy a digital copy or
wife. I know you're listening. I'm getting that for you, okay? Yeah. So you can finally say stop with the spoiler reviews and stuff. I got you.
That's right.
Take care of you.
That's right.
But yeah, you can get that on digital right now. But yeah, cause if it's a Shield motif, I don't know if I want to see Spider-Man dealing with Shield.
Well, so I want to see it only because I want to see what Shield looks like now, after Captain America. Winter Soldier, Shield was kind of disbanded,
and then it was rebanded,
and then put back together. But we haven't seen it
before. It felt like it was rebanded right at Age of Ultron. It was like, all right, we have one of these in the bunker. We'll bring it back out. Smack some dust off real quick.
But we haven't actually seen Shield full blown in a movie in full force since then, I think.
No, we haven't.
So that could be interesting. We could see what it looks like now.
Maybe the Thanos thing. Maybe all right, we're gonna bring Shield back.
Right. Probably a good idea to let's forget about.
We'll bring Shield. We'll bring Sword. We'll bring all of it.
Right. Let's forget about the whole Hail Hydra thing that got infiltrated, and we'll just hit the reset button. So I don't know. I'm interested to see how it would play in, and also we have no idea what this is going to look like because this is all taking place after Avengers 4.
So we got a while before this.
We don't even have a title for that movie, but we've got Spider-Man Far From Home. And have they put a date on that yet? Is that 2019 Far From Home, or is that bumped out to 2020?
No, I think it's 2019 because I think the 3 movies for Marvel next year is Captain Marvel, Avengers, and Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So I think those are the 3 next year.
2019.
Mm-hmm.
So July 5th, summer movie, July 4th weekend, 2019.
Is this the right move for Marvel? Because they're going to repeat the same thing they did this year. They're going to blow out that first half of the year and have nothing in the latter half.
Well, they also don't necessarily want to compete with some of the DC movies.
Well, I mean, the DC movies are coming out. We got one coming out in December.
Mm-hmm.
You're still going to compete with that in some way. Then you got one in April.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's one in July. One of them I think is July.
Yeah.
And then Joker comes out Christmas. To me, that's an even stretch. You got spring, summer, fall.
Yeah.
Take a break in the winter. That sounds like a good year. Stretch out the year.
But I think they're also Marvel is grabbing the times of year that really matter to them if they're going to want to really rake in a lot of money. Aquaman, with Aquaman opening up right before Christmas. That's I think the 21st of December this year, and that's one thing that as a kid growing up and even now, the last thing I want to do during the holidays is go see a movie. Typically, I mean, I will go see Aquaman because I really want to see it, but that time of year is not one time that I think that most people go to see. But when you look at the box office, it's a huge time for people.
I was about to say it's weird because I have a little Thanksgiving around Thanksgiving. It's normally a tradition. We go see a movie.
Yeah.
So with Creed 2 coming out around Thanksgiving,
right?
That's let's get fat off this turkey,
and then fall asleep while we're watching Creed.
Fall asleep at the theater.
Yeah.
You got the nice meat sweat going, and it's nice and air conditioned, and you can kind of combat that meat sweat.
Well,
so
that sounds more appealing than watching football to me, but I don't know. There's
and the whole, and just because I was on a tirade, the whole Christmas thing to me is perfect because you're gonna have toys with a big movie.
Yeah.
And what do you want to open? If you see a big movie, you want to reenact this. As a little boy, we used to reenact big movies we saw and so forth. So I watch a movie, and then I open my Aquaman toys.
Yeah.
Christmas Day, Hanukkah, and I go at it.
Yeah.
This is not reenact the movie. I make my own little movie. So
yeah,
I think
No,
those holidays is a little bit more.
It makes perfect sense. It's just me historically. That's not something my family ever did. So growing up, I had no idea that was a big time to see a movie. I always thought summer blockbusters. You know?
Now that I've said that, and I've been mulling over this for like 25 seconds, it might be a way for Marvel to not, or for Disney not to be stepping on each other's toes. Maybe they're going to do the summer blockbuster. First half of the year is all Marvel. Second half of the year is Disney cartoons.
They could. I mean, you think, now that we're talking about Disney is absorbing Fox, and this company just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it doesn't want to compete with itself.
They don't want to cannibalize. So they might just go ahead and segment the whole year. Like, first quarter, or first trimester is Marvel. Second trimester, Fox. Third trimester, Disney Animate.
Yeah, it's possible.
That might be the way to go.
So we have the logo released for Homecoming. We've got basically the confirmation that Kobe Smulders and Maria Hill are coming back for that movie, and then in what I hope will eventually become a shared universe, we have Venom. So this is one that I'm willing to give it some time.
I'm not.
But I can tell you right now.
I'm going to go ahead and say I'm not.
If all the rumors are true, if this Venom movie has nothing to do with the MCU, has nothing to do with Spider-Man, then I don't care.
Now, I heard an interesting rumor yesterday that this might be Marvel's way of having Sony keep the rights and then say it's a multi-universe.
Maybe. I don't know. It's still... I don't want to see a Venom movie without Spider-Man.
Look good to me. It doesn't.
Well, see,
just because you're slightly better than the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3 Venom, just because you're slightly better, and you're just a little bit, you look like you took that version and spritzed it with some water before you put it on TV.
What? So we actually had yesterday, I believe it was, Topher Grace from that 70s show who played Venom in Spider-Man 3.
Mad.
Well, no, he just straight up said, he was like, this looks a lot better than which I agree. It looks way better than Venom in Spider-Man 3, but I don't know.
The story doesn't look like it's there.
See, I actually think it looks good. What my problem is that it doesn't tie in with anything, and I want a shared universe. So, I'm the sort of person who I'm probably still going to see it no matter what.
Yeah, I'm going to see it. Like, you already got my money. Take it. But don't be mad at the words I say after I finish watching it.
So we got this new Venom trailer. This is, I guess if you count the teaser, this is trailer 3. But we got to see a lot more Venom talking.
He's really big on the Wii.
Yeah.
Which is the best thing.
That's accurate.
It's accurate. I didn't like the audio quality. That's just my opinion. It sounded very...
I want to know, so this when you see the trailer, you have Tom Hardy speaking in an American accent, and then he also does the voice of Venom, too, but in his normal British accent, but it's distorted a bit. I want to know, what's with people throwing Tom Hardy into a comic book movie and wanting to distort his voice to the point where you can barely understand it? Because they did the same thing with Bane, and they had to tone it down because when they showed the first trailer at Comic-Con of The Dark Knight Rises, barely anybody could understand.
And I think the normal consensus from Hall H this year at Comic-Con was the same thing. No one understood what Ben was saying.
The first few things he said I understood, but then, a couple of things I had to go back and rewind and turn the volume up trying to figure out what he was saying. So as far as the depiction of Venom, I like the giant hulking Venom like he is in the comics.
That's about it, but he's still missing that key emblem on his chest.
Yeah. And so, that's the thing is, like, I'm still holding out hope that they don't show that because they don't want to give it away.
At the end of it, Spider-Man swings through and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to copy that."
Right. Just some way of tying it in. But this is going to be a totally different superhero movie because of the violence.
So, have they said what the rating was?
No, I don't think they have.
Because it looks like it's rated R.
Well, and it might be, because in this trailer, if you watch through the end of this new trailer, you see at the very towards the very end of it, he's talking to a criminal, I guess, who robbed a bodega or something, and he's got his hand on the guy's shoulder, and the last thing you see is Venom's mouth go out, and the people that were at Comic-Con this year said that they saw what happens, and he actually bites the guy's head off of his body.
Now, unfortunately, that was a cool scene besides the script. Like a turd in the wind.
Is that what he says?
Yes. He says,
okay.
you'll be, I'll bite off your arms and your legs, and you'll just be rolling around like a turd in the wind. I'm like, wait, what? Let me rewind that.
I didn't catch that. That's kind of weird. So, I don't know.
Are there a lot of turds flying in the wind?
Thankfully, no. So yeah, I think there's still a lot up in the air on Venom.
Not excited.
So that's going to be coming out October 5th. So we're not that far removed from Venom's release date. Now, some related news to that is if you've been keeping up with Andy Serkis's new film Mowgli.
Is this his directorial debut?
No, I think he's done other things too.
Andy Serkis,
I think,
mostly known for his motion capture.
Yeah, portrayal of Gollum, King Kong, the Planet of the Apes, the new trilogy. He's done quite a bit. So there's a little bit of controversy with this Mowgli film because it was basically made at the same time as Disney made their Jungle Book live action movie that came out 2 years ago. This is an Armageddon and Deep Impact situation where they're made at the exact same time, and then the studios release the information. They go, crap, we got the same movie coming out. So this Warner Brothers made Andy Serkis Mowgli, which is a darker take on the overall story.
Which I thought Disney already did a good job being darker, because that last Disney movie live action was borderline a horror movie.
Yeah, but I think this one is supposed to take it even darker.
Shere Khan scared the crap out of me.
Right. Well, the cast looks phenomenal. There's no doubt the motion capture is going to be great on this too. Andy Serkis has directed it. But the reason why this all ties into Venom is because Mowgli was supposed to come out the same weekend, October 5th, as Venom. And now Warner Brothers, I guess, got tired of waiting and sold it to Netflix. So now we're going to have Mowgli coming direct to Netflix, which leaves Venom's opening weekend wide open.
Open right now.
Yeah, for right now.
I think there's some other studios that should be looking at that weekend and making some moves. Because we have a lot in that December range.
True, but I think it's too late at this point. It's okay. People can withdraw, but you rarely see people put a new movie and change
it up. Like Avengers went ahead and was like, I'm going to open 2 weeks early. I want someone to be like, I'm going to open 2 months early.
I don't know. I think this opens up. Not that I think Mowgli was that much of a competition.
It wasn't, but at the same time, I'm not that super thrilled about Venom either. So it's like I actually want something to move there so I can watch something else.
So I'm somewhere in between. Like I want to see if Venom is any good, but at the same time, in a way, I kind of hope that if this Venom movie has nothing to do with the shared universe of the MCU, I hope it fails, bombs, and then maybe Sony, because that means Sony's not going to do a deeper dive into these other movies that they've been talking about.
Well, it seems like they've already they took their foot off the pedal with some of the other ones, because I think they were supposed to be the Sinister Six got scratched hard, which it didn't make sense to me anyway, to be honest.
And what did they have, like Silver and
Black and White, which is supposed to be Silver Sable and Black Cat, that got scratched. So I mean, looking at it, if they're going to go ahead and put all their money on Venom and see what that does, and if they'd be like, if it bombs, then hey, Disney, go ahead and buy Spider-Man.
Right.
Which I don't know how much money they have in the bank left.
Well, I think
that was a pretty penny last time. I don't.
But at the same time, now that that's gone through, even though they spent a whole lot of money on it, I'm sure their credit rating's going through the roof, because now they have a massive backlog of properties that could be sold off.
They got to use those properties to get some of that money back.
So I don't know. I'm torn. If Venom is any good, then I want it to do well. But at the same time, if it's not, I hope it bombs hard, and maybe that helps the MCU finally have a totally, a totally succinct universe. Then they just have to worry about getting the Hulk from Universal, and that's it.
At this point, I would say, but there's one point I want to get back to, but before I go there, I don't think they need to spend money on the Hulk. They can already use the Hulk.
Right. They just can't do a standalone.
They just can't do a standalone movie, and that might be that one superhero you just shouldn't do a standalone movie for.
But I like the Hulk.
I like the Hulk, but the reason you like the Hulk is because he's the Hulk. You don't want too much screen time of Bruce Banner.
But see, you say that though, but the old Hulk television show...
That was different.
With, David Banner, what they called him.
Lou Ferrigno, and that was different because that was a series.
Yeah.
And when it comes to a movie, where you're sitting down, you know you only got a lot of time.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I got 2 hours. I got 2.5 hours. How much of that 2.5 hours am I going to sit here and stay still to see Bruce or to see Hulk?
Yeah. Well,
I think we got the perfect blend in Thor Ragnarok. Even though I do not like that movie, I don't like it.
It was good.
The Hulk was the proportion of Hulk in that movie was great.
But I actually like the Incredible Hulk. I just wish that Edward Norton hadn't have been in it.
The diva.
Yeah. I mean, talk about shooting yourself in the foot. You got a good thing going, and then
he shot himself in the foot again this weekend because I think the roast of Bruce Willis was on.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
And I don't know if it was a joke or we just wanted to say
people were going after him hard. I heard.
Yeah, I don't know if he just wanted to say how much he hate Marvel or if it was really supposed to be a joke. But it seemed like he was not over that. He seemed like he was butthurt. That literally seems like it was a man that was butthurt. But I want to go back to this Netflix thing. So we're seeing Netflix increase in popularity, and there's new things coming, new competition. Is this going to be the new thing for Netflix? Is just to buy movies that might not do as well? Is that the play they should be going for now?
Maybe. I don't know if they're okay. Like, a lot of people hated on the Cloverfield Paradox. But, they bought that one up.
That was a little...
But I had fun with it.
I had fun because it was a Netflix movie. I knew what it was.
Right.
But...
if I had paid, like, $30-some for tickets...
Oh, I'd be ticked.
With my wife and I probably wouldn't have been so excited. But in all honesty, I probably wouldn't have paid to see it to begin with. Mm-hmm. That I enjoy those movies, but it's not something that I'm going to shell out money for in the theater. But I'm okay with them doing that because it's not like they're buying Sharknado or some terrible sci-fi movie. These are movies that they might not be able to be.
So are we going to start? Should we start seeing movies made for theater and be like, nah, I'm just going to put this on Netflix?
Yeah, I mean, if
that's what this Andy Serkis is going to be. It's going to be a movie theater quality movie, but put on Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, Warner Brothers funded it and everything, and then they just decided that instead of advertising for it, they just save that cost and sell it to somebody else.
I would like to see the financials on that one. I want to see how much money did they really save or gain out of that doing that deal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was expensive.
Because it's really a gamble. Because you're thinking, all right, this movie isn't going to do well in theaters.
Right.
So I should just go ahead and sell it to Netflix. And is that studios losing faith in their own productions now?
Maybe. I mean, at least they can't throw money out like they used to. I think that's one thing where they have to be a little more stringent on what they're going to put their label on, what they're going to throw a massive advertising budget in and throw a big premiere for and all of that. So I don't know, but
we should at the end of the year we should really look at all the movies that came out in theaters and say which one should just went to Netflix.
Right. Well, speaking of a franchise that's had a couple that probably should have just gone straight to Netflix, Terminator. I'm really mainly talking about.
There's only 2 good Terminators, 1 and 2.
Yeah. And yeah,
after that it's downhill.
3 was terrible. Salvation, I thought, was at least different from the rest of them.
It was
with it actually taking place after the apocalypse.
It was watchable.
And then they went and did Genesis, and it was just terrible.
And I feel bad because like my girl from Game of Thrones is in there, Daenerys. The mother of all dragons, she's in there. I was hoping it was going to be good just for her.
Yeah, she did a pretty good portrayal of Sarah Connor. But either way, so we have news this week that this is basically James Cameron who wrote, who did the first 2. Terminator was his fever dream child, basically. He had a nightmare, dreamed the whole thing up, put pen to paper. We got the first Terminator movie that got his career going. And so he is basically doing this Terminator
what kind of
movie.
Is he having?
Well, I saw an interview one time. He said he was in like Italy or France or something, and he had a really bad case of the flu, and he said that he was having like fever dreams and stuff.
Avatar too?
Maybe. No, that might have been acid or something. I don't know. Pocahontas in space. It's for whatever reason we're getting like another 4 of those. Good luck, James.
Under Disney.
Yeah. But I digress. So Terminator, James Cameron is coming in basically saying forget about Terminator 3, Terminator Salvation, Terminator Genesis. This is taking place.
This is the true 3.
Yeah, this is the actual Terminator 3 taking place after Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And they're bringing back Arnold in some capacity. Be interested to see how that's going to work through. And
I mean, he still looks good. He doesn't look as well he did back then, but he still looks good. I mean, he's just old.
Yeah.
And just keep him away from nannies, and he should be good.
Well,
no nannies on set.
So we do have a confirmation that Linda Hamilton is actually coming back to reprise her role as Sarah Connor. Really one of the original awesome female leads. And
she was one of them ones. Her, Ripley, they're the ones
Sigourney
that started
Weaver,
that whole.
Basically.
I don't curse, but bad shut your mouth female action stars.
Yeah. So I think in my mind Terminator 2 Judgment Day probably the best action movie of all time. That's my personal opinion.
One of the best. It's definitely the best. One of the best sequels of all time too.
Yeah. So
it literally, I don't feel like the first one does justice.
Right.
Like if you had to pick which one do you want to watch over and over again,
and I think that's only budget constraints, really, because I mean the first one was made pretty much bare bones.
It was made bare bones, but if you look at the story, then you really want to see the after effect.
Yeah.
It's just like Empire Strikes Back. Like, you really see the second part. So
what makes this interesting, too, is Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor, was actually married to James Cameron for years. So he's now directing his ex-wife. I guess it's been long enough to where everybody's on good terms.
There's so many jokes in there.
we bring this up, though, because the first set photo came out this week. They started filming.
It looks amazing.
Yeah. Linda Hamilton barely looks like she's aged at all. She's back in shape as Sarah Connor. Got the machine guns loaded up and everything. It looks
like she's been doing some curls still.
Yeah. probably got better looking arms than I do.
Yeah.
So she looks like she's handling things well. So we have a new Terminator movie coming up, made by the original people. So we have some faith in maybe this ship will be righted.
Honestly, I still feel like because Terminator 2 is such an epic, it should have ended right there.
So that's the other thing too. If you have Terminator 2 on DVD, or just go to YouTube after you watch this video or listen to the podcast, you can actually see what the original ending of Terminator 2 was. And the studio convinced James Cameron to cut it out because it was even more of a final ending than what you saw in theaters. It actually showed in the future when John Connor's older and Sarah Connor is narrating all this, but you see Washington, D.C. in like 2030, 2040, futuristic city.
I'm pretty sure he was.
Nothing ever happened. John Connor is now Senator John Connor, and you see them playing Sarah Connor playing with her grandchildren, and it's all over with.
So that brings up a nice little discussion. Should we let certain franchises just be their great ending and call it a day?
Yes. I mean, there's some that I think, just that was great. That's why this movie, I have more faith in it than any other Terminator movie.
You think this one's going to end it all?
I hope it does. And at the very least, so the nice thing about the Terminator franchise is that Terminator 2 was so good and ended in a way that could be a final ending, with or without that little extra scene they cut out, that I can just forget about the other movies. I have already.
I'm about to say I do that every time I see them.
So
I forget them as soon as they're over.
Yeah, I mean, there's some that I want to see continuing, but
I think there's a certain thing to say about movies that have a beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
Emphasis on end.
Well, so it's the same thing with Star Wars, right? Like, I hope that Episode 9 is the last episode that we see with the Skywalker saga.
The Skywalker saga.
Let's just wrap that up and then move on to something else we haven't seen before.
Skywalker now?
Well, Luke's still hanging in there, apparently.
Well, I mean, yeah, as a photo.
And Leia's still in there.
Yeah, just...
So, but let this be the end of it. I don't, let Anakin's family do their own thing. We don't need to see him on film anymore.
Look, Anakin's family needs to go on Jerry Springer and call it a day. That's how you end it. You're going to end Star Wars with Jim showing up on Jerry Springer.
Yeah. Well, I hear that show's coming to an end too, so maybe they can wrap it up.
Exactly, same episode, Darth Vader episode.
Right. So yeah, we have Terminator and everything is going to be coming out in the near future. We'll keep you up to date on all of that. So
we some news on Netflix shows, don't we?
Yeah.
Altered Carbon.
So I'm a big fan of Altered Carbon. That first season came out in the this past winter, early spring, somewhere around in there. It's a really awesome take on a novel. I believe it's the biggest budget for any Netflix show. Special effects were fantastic. So this past season, Joel Kinnaman, who we all know from Suicide Squad, Rick Flag. He was also in the less than stellar RoboCop reboot. But he played Takeshi Kovacs, who's the main character in that TV series and in the novel. And for those of you who don't know, this centers around a kind of somewhat dystopian future, but it's only dystopian because the wealth disparity is so extreme. So the essentially
sounds like they need Thanos there.
Yeah, right. So in this situation, the humans discover alien technology that it allows them to download their brains into a chipset, and then so you have your chip in the back of your neck, and the body that you live in. They just call it a sleeve because it's basically a clone of yourself. But the problem is when people can live forever, and whenever your sleeve, your body dies out, they pop your chip out and they put it into a new one. Well, that means that the wealthier basically just keep getting wealthy. Mm-hmm. And the people who are poor live out an eternal existence of working and slaving over dead-end jobs day in and day out. And so you have this dystopian ground level of San Francisco where everybody, it's very Blade Runner-esque. And then you have the people who live in the clouds way up above that are trillionaires many times over because they're 300-400 years old and they've been the CEO of their company for the past 200 years, and they just keep banking that wealth. And the other issues you have, poor people, if they want to keep living forever, they have to get whatever sleeve they can afford. And it messes with you mentally over time if you don't get a clone of yourself. If you pull your consciousness out and then upload yourself into something that doesn't look anything like you. There's an example in the very first episode of a child, like a 4-year-old child, getting hit by a car and dying, and they pull her chip out and put her in whatever is readily available because her family is poor. So a 4-year-old is now inside of like a 70-year-old woman's sleeve. So you have a 4-year-old who's in a dying sleeve now, and unless her family can afford to replace it, she's going to die permanently, or at least just be stuck on a shelf inside of a chipset. until she can make her way out. So
I'll put down my list to watch.
Right, it's really good. And what's interesting, the news that we had this week, they have renewed it for a second season. And the interesting thing about the way this world works is Takeshi Kovacs is hundreds of years old, but he has been imprisoned in his own little chipset for all this time. But the sleeve that he uses is not his own in the first season. So what we find out at the end of this first season is he's going to be returning that sleeve to the rightful owner, and so we get to see what he's going to look like in season 2. And in this case, instead of Joel Kinnaman, we're getting in the MCU's own Anthony Mackie, Falcon, which I think he's a great actor.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
Could bring a lot of fun to it as well. Maybe it's not going to be quite as
dark and morbid.
Yeah. Which the first season had quite a bit of. I mean, when you're talking about living in a world where people can kill you with zero consequences, and what made it more complicated is there are people called neo-Catholics, and if you're neo-Catholic, you're super religious. So neo-Catholics do not believe in keeping their minds in the chip. So once they're dead, they're dead. They can't be resurrected.
Yeah. Why does it sound like anytime you put neo in front of something, it's going to turn bad?
Most of the time it is. So something really to look forward to. Right. Right. So this is all coming up, I guess, either the end of this year, well, probably sometime in 2019 at this point. So a lot to look forward to with Anthony Mackie coming on board.
And then another news for the geek culture and for all pop culture. There's one thing that's finally coming to an end. Now, I thought it should have ended 5 movies ago.
It should have never existed to begin with.
But Sharknado is coming out with its last movie.
Sure, last. I'll believe it.
This will be the last time it breaks the internet.
They're going to keep milking that franchise until everybody just stops watching.
Did they do Space already?
Oh,
I gotta look back. I think they did Space already.
Probably.
I can't stand that movie. I didn't even like the first one. I'm still trying to figure out why people broke the internet about that.
I'm happy to say I have never watched a single minute of a Sharknado movie, and nor will I ever will.
Well, you're not an American unless you watch at least 5 minutes of Sharknado.
If I go to your house and you have Sharknado playing, I'm just going to leave. So yeah, we have that coming out for some reason.
Last time you see sharks, tornadoes, and chainsaws.
Right.
This will be the last time. Come
up with some other octopus hurricane.
Octopus quake.
Right. Something like that will be coming up soon. Mark my words. So shifting gears a little bit, going into the world of DC.
We got another casting call for Joker, which we're gonna run into a lot in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
The next couple of months, I think we're gonna get into a lot because they're gonna have to start filming really soon.
Right. So what we found out this week is Mark Maron, a famous comedian. Most people might know him right now from Glow, the Netflix series. But he's been in a lot of different things. He's got a great podcast, WTF. I'm a big fan.
Not as great as ours.
Yeah.
Not as great as ours. So.
But you could go over and subscribe to that too. As long as you don't mind foul language, it's a good podcast. So it sounds like the people who are doing the Joker movie want Mark Maron to play a very specific role. We don't know what that role is yet. But for those of you who know Mark Maron, you know he kind of plays a good, kind of sleazeball, mid-level management. Whether they want him to be, on the police force.
This would be the first victim he kills in The Office.
Right. Either like a detective or even like a mobster sort of guy. I could see him playing either one, but he does not have a reputation of playing
Nick Frost?
A good person.
Because Nick Frost is like his go-to guy.
Maybe
his go-to guy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I could see that.
Because honestly, with this movie, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, this is a blank slate.
This is this is the first real origin movie that's completely blank slate.
Yeah,
we've never had the origin of Joker, so you can add whoever you want to it.
We kind of got one in Batman '89, but
ain't no looking at that. Ain't no one looking at it.
I mean, that was just done up to be more closely tied with Batman. So either way, I think it'd be interesting. The more I hear of the cast of this movie, the more I'm interested in it. Still don't know if we necessarily need it, but
I'm gonna go see it.
Yeah, I'm sure I probably will too. So then we have probably the biggest news of this week outside of Star Wars casting was, as we talked about last week, James Gunn abruptly fired over 10-year-old tweets. Everybody has their opinion on these things, but this week we got to hear the opinions of the cast of the Guardians.
And pretty much the whole cast.
Yeah.
Has signed a nicely worded letter. I'm not going to read the letter, but it's a nicely worded letter stating that they are in full support to try to hire him back.
Yeah.
Now, here's the stipulation. They said to hire him back. Disney's already going to be like, nah, we good.
Right.
Like, Disney doesn't really lose anything out of this.
Yeah.
Like, again, give him a writing credit, and that's all you need. There's other directors out there. Like, we don't need to have the same director on the last 3 movies.
Right.
So, I'm not going to campaign for his job back. I understand the cast love him. They worked years with him. They love him. He's a brother. You do kind of want to see him back. Even his own brother's is on the work. Cause I think Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam Gunn is on there too. So
yeah, he was signed on as well. So he has the support of all of them. But like you were saying, it doesn't sound like Disney's going to jump on board.
I don't think Disney profits from it at all. I think they get more backlash than anything. So
yeah. So we do have there are quite a few people that are rumored to be taking over this project, Guardians 3, and it sounds like it's probably going to be Taika Waititi.
That's my top pick. Taika Waititi is my top pick. I don't like what he did with Ragnarok. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but I think he's the most loose director. If you had asked me probably 6 months ago, I would probably said Ava DuVernay. But looks like she's signed up with DC's New Gods movie. Yeah. Which I'm still surprised they're doing that. But that's going to be kind of Guardians of the Galaxy like-ish.
Right.
So
that'll be similar enough. But yeah, I think Taika Waititi seems like the logical person to take over for this with his sense of humor and his directing style. So we'll keep you up to date on all of that as well as we learn more. But we'll probably get that news fairly soon, I would imagine.
All right, so now we're on to our next segment, our weekly segment, Random Battles, where we pretty much pick at random out of a box for each other on who's going to battle. No morality is placed in this. This is a battle to the death, and there's no previous knowledge of each other, skills and ability, and we just argue who we would think would win.
Right.
So last week's pick, Clay picked the Signal for me, so I'll be debating the Signal. And Clay, I picked Quake from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for him. So want me to show you how I'm gonna kick your
butt? Sure. Yeah, give me an idea.
Well, first let me tell you about Signal. Duke Thomas. All right, he's one of Batman's latest proteges. He's not really a Robin, even though his background, he was pretty much like he was a regular kid. His mom and dad was attacked by some Joker venom, so they're permanently like in the insane asylum. He became a part of the street gang, not a street gang, but it was a group of vigilantes called We Are Robin. Nice little series where kids around Gotham were inspired by Robin and was trying to fight crime. They all gathered together. He was like one of the main lead characters out of that group. And he was the only one out of the group that Batman picked after he disbanded the group and was like, hey, look, you have potential. Come with me and I'll train you. So this is someone trained by Batman. And just FYI, he does have meta-human powers. So by that, what he has is really like absorbing light. Not really like using it, but he can kind of see how light moves and he can kind of predict different angles.
So how are you going to use that against Quake over here?
Well, I am trained by Batman. Most of his people don't even like touching the ground. I'm jumping. I'm acrobatic. I know martial arts. He was trained by Nightwing with the sticks, the screamer sticks. Dude, I don't think you're ready.
I don't know. All I got to do is make an earthquake, collapse some buildings on top.
All right, how does that work for her?
Push you backwards.
How does that work for her in her show?
All right, let's not concentrate on the show. Maybe that's not the best example.
I'm just saying, how does that work for her in the show? It doesn't work that well. She gets bodied by a lot of regular people. I'm talking about getting bodied by a dude trained by Batman.
All right. So I think that
I don't think Powers is going to help you. I think you need to focus on something else. Powers ain't going to help you.
Can't underestimate the Batman side of things. I get that. So I don't know. I mean, I think I think Quake could handle herself. I think she could bring down the city around, but
and she doesn't. She breaks her arm when she tries to use her powers. Like, at least my dude has powers, and it doesn't blind him when he uses it.
Right.
But yours, if I ain't got my gauntlets on, I'm gonna break my wrist.
All right, I'll give you that. Maybe Quake will have to concede on that one, but
hey, look, super spy trained versus Batman trained, it doesn't really uphold like. Batman's training is pretty rigorous.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? Leave a comment down below. Who do you think would win between Signal and Quake?
Batman trained versus someone not even Nick Fury trained. Phil Coulson trained. I want you to think about that one.
Yeah.
Not even the number one guy in S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right. So we'll see. So I guess at this point we need to draw for next week. See what our little argument's going to be.
Yep. Let's see.
So for Donald, we have Starfire from the comics.
Oh, yeah. All right. And for Clay, he has Spider-Man, Miles Morales.
Yeah.
So.
I think we know who's going to win this.
I mean, I'm facing against a teenage boy. Have you seen what Starfire wears?
All right. Well, tune in next week. Let us know your opinions on that, and we'll
put
be
down in
discussing
the
that
comments.
next week.
You put your philosophies down. You can also check out our Instagram and Twitter. We'll be putting it on there too. But thanks again for watching, or listening and watching. Don here.
Clay. Yeah.
Geek Philosophy, Geek Way of Thinking. Have a great day, y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for stopping by Geek Philosophy. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button, put your philosophies in the comments, and also hit that subscribe button so you can be notified of all future videos. Thanks for stopping by Geek Philosophy, the Geek Way of Thinking.